Welcome to the OmniTalk Fast Five, sponsored by Takeoff, the A&M Consumer and Retail Group, and Manhattan Associates. The OmniTalk Fast Five is the funniest, fastest, and most fervently insightful breakdown of all the week's top news in the world of retail, and also the podcast with the best alliteration. Today is May 20th, 2021. I am your host, Chris Walton, joined as always by the ever illustrious Ann Mazinga.
Ever illustrious isn't alliterative.
It's not ever illustrious. It's close though.
You're gonna have to work on that, I think.
Yeah, I know. It's not probably not meeting the bar, but I'm gonna try to figure out what we can do. Yeah.
Next time.
So are you? You're already off the bat. You're already giving me grief. I see how this is.
I'm just getting ready for next week, Chris.
Are
when
you
come back to the world?
I know, right? Are you ready for the Chris Walton and Mazinga OmniTalk reunion tour in the physical world? Are you ready for this? People don't know this, but I have not spent time with you physically. Like, I have not been in the same area with you. I want to qualify that. I have not been in the same vicinity of you in 15 months. Like, whatever, right? Like, that's basically what we're talking about here, right?
Yeah. You're gonna have to deal with me day to day, and I'm not sure which you're more afraid of, like being exposed to like the germ-filled air, or being in a room with me again for 10 hours a day.
Oh, so
which is it?
So, you're putting me on the spot. Wow. Okay, it's like A&M's here all of a sudden again. Germs or being in the same room with you, which is more scary post-COVID? I gotta tell you, I don't know. That's a tough call.
You can think on it. We can check back in later, but I'm curious to find out. Should we check back
in on that? That's probably
how you're gonna do.
I don't know, man. God, I'm starting to sweat already trying to figure that out. It's probably like a lot of retail companies out there this week. But no, in seriousness, I think I'm excited to join. I'm excited to join back up with you. I think it's gonna be awesome to get things going that way again, and to get traveling again. I'm pumped getting to go to Nashville, Chicago, Vegas. Those are all the things we've got on the docket. Maybe even some trips to Europe coming up. So it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. Just like this week was fun. There were a ton of earnings this week. We're actually not gonna cover the earnings because, quite frankly, we thought they were a lot of what has already been told, a lot of the same story. Everyone seems to be doing really well, just given how just heated up the economy is. I also still have a lot of questions about Walmart and their earnings release. They claim they're gaining share in grocery. So I have an inquiry into their media relations team to say, what exactly does that mean? Are you talking physical share, total share, online share, one or the other? I asked that of them 24 hours ago, over 24 hours ago. I have not heard yet. That seems like a pretty basic question. But there's a lot of ways you can spin market share. So I always tell everyone, have a little caution there. Not sure Walmart's doing that, but hey, we're going to stay on top of it, see what we can try to figure out, because we do think it's important to have a better understanding of that question, especially when you talk about Walmart for the future. All right, Ann, I think we give this a roll. Should we let's get the momentum going here, because
so much momentum,
because next week is actually the Momentum Connect conference from Manhattan Associates. As we talked about in the show, I'm going to be speaking there. And then get ready. But on Tuesday, I'm going to be live tweeting. And then I will also be writing up a recap of everything I've learned and taken away from the show. So if you're interested in registering, the link to register will be in the show notes. Check it out. Come to the conference. Start up a conversation with me on LinkedIn, on social media. I'm going to be excited to hear from everybody. I'm pretty excited. It seems like a good educational conference to learn a lot. All right. In terms of the news, we've got a great show. The top headlines today, we're going to start off talking. We're going to talk a little bit about Amazon Go and its new rebranding of Go Grocery. I'm going to touch on Google and Shopify deepening their partnership. I always love when I can talk about people deepening their partnerships. We're going to discuss the RealReal launching their own fashion brand, which I know Ann loves. We're going to discuss CAMP creating a new way to shop online for toys, which word on the street is Ann doesn't like that one. But first, we're going to take off, as we always do, take off in honor of our sponsor with Target and their move into the delivery of same-day booze.
Chris, what is the first thing that you're going to order from Target booze delivery pickup? Do you know?
Oh, I was joking online. I think it's going to be like some Leinenkugel Summer Shandy, or I might go a Grupo Modelo, the dark. I like the dark Modelo now. I'm kind of into that. Like, that's what I'm thinking. Summery beers. I want summery. Do
you want to deepen your relationship with summery beers?
I do.
I do.
I was out gardening. Yeah. All you Cool Hand Luke fans, settle down. I was out doing some gardening and some watering the lawn with the hoses, setting them up this weekend. And I was like, God, you know what sounds really good right now? I was at my mom's house, cold beer. And I just grabbed a beer out of the fridge, sat down, popped the top, sat down with Mrs. Omni Talk, shared a beer. It was so choice. Like,
Not
so
much better
good.
than the lawn mowing yard work beer, is there? It's pretty
Yeah,
pretty
no, that
satisfying.
really is like the best beer. The best beer. Yeah, for sure. 100%. But
Well,
anyway, we digress.
now you can get that beer at Target through same day delivery services. Drive up, order pickup in store, and shipped at
Can't
1,200
take
Target
Christmas.
stores across the country and 600 stores that fulfill via shipped. So Target is going to fulfill this the same way that you would if you've ordered liquor throughout the pandemic. I mean, you just show up for your normal order pickup, show your barcode. They'll confirm then that you're 21, or when the ship delivery driver gets to your house, they'll confirm. And along with your groceries, your clothing, your kids' t-shirts for tie-dye day at daycare, you can now get your bottle of Black Girl Magic Rosé. Chris, I am pretty pumped. What do you think about this?
Is that's your drink, Black Girl Magic Rosé? That's
It's
amazing.
great. You should try it.
I didn't know there was such a thing. I am a kind of a rosé fan. I am kind of a huge fan of it. I am also a huge fan of this idea. I think this is massive. I give huge kudos to Target for this. I mean, if you think about it comparably, Uber purchased Drizzly not that long ago. Rumored valuation was over $1 billion. So this is minimally $1 billion idea that we are talking about here. And I actually think it's probably, in terms of valuation, much bigger than that comparably, because you look like you have ships, so you have those same types of capabilities in terms of same day services, but you also have the network of 2,000 stores that's now available for curbside pickup, which as a startup, Uber, Drizzly, whomever, you can't just stand that up. And that's an important aspect of this when you start talking about convenience, because there's times when you need ice, you need things quickly, and maybe that's when you're going to use this type of service to get those types of products. So I think this is huge. Like I think this is so funny. And I cannot get this vision out of my head because it's $1 billion idea of like Brian Cornell, CEO of Target, with a big B around his neck and a huge gold chin. And he's like pumping
like
iron.
rapper
and like
chain.
Yeah, like a rapper chain in the Target gym. So I don't think people know this, but Brian Cornell works out twice a day in the corporate Target gym. And so I just see him like strutting with all the earnings with the big gold chain around his head, like pumping some iron, like I just think it's great. Good for him, man. This is a cool move. That'd be a cool video too. I hope Target hears this and maybe shoots that, but they never will.
Oh man, yeah, I don't know about that, but yeah, I think the convenience thing is so key, Chris, especially when you think about too, like all of the other things that you're ordering from one spot and from Target. You're not going to like Uber or Instacart and you have to order from a bunch of different stores to have this delivery done. It's one and done. You can get so much at that one-stop shop at Target, and furthers Target as that one-stop shop online and offline, which I think is huge. You know who else likes this idea though?
Oh no, I know where this is going.
A&M.
Oh geez,
And they're going to put you on the spot
today.
right off the bat here. So Chris, obviously great move, great digital results, but A&M wants you to tell them if having such a deep dependencies on stores for fulfillment is going to create a risk to the target customer who's shopping in store with all these like third party and even the Target pickers interfering with that customer experience. Do you think that they should be thinking about other fulfillment models that kind of lessen that store pick dependency?
Oh yeah. Oh wow. Yeah, that's a good question. That's a really great. These guys are so good at doing kind of the offshoot question on the topic. I mean, I think I would say I wouldn't be worried about store fulfillment. Number one, I do think they need to be exploring different options for that. So right. So like long term, if you're having third party pickers coming into your store, that's going to be problematic because the store shelves will get crowded. That'll hurt your current shoppers, and also it's kind of more expensive. So I think no, you have to look at more models though in terms of how to use that inventory more efficiently and get a higher return on investment. I mean, that's why we've partnered with, Takeoff, a micro fulfillment company for so long. The idea there is, put automation or process efficiencies in the back room to pick and pack out of the back. So you're not needing those third-party pickers to come in and do that work. They can just pick up the goods curbside or some location. And then the good news is the stores are closer from a last mile standpoint. And so I think the other thing you're seeing with Target too is like they're doing the sortation center work. They just announced in their earnings report too that they're going to open 5 more of those. They're actually going to be smaller, they said in the report, than their typical store. So those are going to be in pretty good locations. And they've always already said ship drivers can go to those. So I think you see Target already moving in that direction where they're not going to necessarily have the drivers do the pick and pack. They're going to have the drivers do the pickup and the last mile delivery. So I think it's incredibly smart. And you continue to just build out the network across the store base. and with any other complementary type warehousing that you're going to need to make that happen. So it's a great question. But I actually don't worry about it at all. I think it's actually a benefit that, more and more people need to exploit.
Yeah, short-term problem, but something that can be solved with the right mix of technology. And look what they've done in the last year and a half, getting to this point with drive up and order pickup and curbside and things like that.
Target seems far afield of that relative to other people for sure. All right, let's hit this next story. I think this one, I think this is probably the most important story. But Amazon this week has rebranded Go Grocery to Amazon Fresh. Now, rest assured, loyal OmniTalk fans, that does not mean that Amazon Go is going anywhere. They will continue to roll out Amazon Go stores, as well as Amazon Fresh grocery stores, which just heard today, another one is opening up in Virginia. Yes, that's right. It's just that Amazon Go Grocery as a concept is dead. I want to make sure everyone understands that completely. But I think this is really important. And what's your thoughts here?
Yeah, I mean, to me, this is so much more than a rebrand. And I think what this is, the underlying thing for me here is really that this allows Amazon to rethink fresh in a smaller footprint, like in the Go, what was traditional Go footprint, the 1,000 square foot space, and what that could mean for convenience stores throughout the country in rural destinations when they can, leverage Amazon's supply chain for fresh in a very small autonomous footprint. And then when you start to look at, they're going into 30,000 square feet grocery store concepts right now, like it also allows them to continue to push grocery to fresh, to Go Grocery, or what it was formerly called, that cashierless checkout option, which I think is great. And I think there's going to be ripple effects now for both industries, both grocery and convenience, because of this.
Interesting. God, that's a cool, I hadn't thought about that side of the angle. I love that you brought that up. Like that's fascinating. So you're saying, like, sure, there's the whole like easily seen thing of, okay, maybe they are going to move into bigger scale grocery in general. And so let's just now call that all Amazon Fresh, which I think this does herald, favorite word to say. But you're saying it also now brands convenience in a different way, where they can now go 10,000, 7,000 square feet with fresh, like a smaller grocery assortment,
right,
for different communities throughout the world. And there's still a lot of appetite, especially in the ground floors of all the residential apartment complexes that are going up too. So that's a great point. I know there's a lot of incentives around that too, from a real estate development perspective. Fascinating. I don't have anything to add there. I think it heralds both of those things. I think it's super cool. The other thing I love about it though is, like, I love this company that's just like, yeah, so what? We had different names. Who cares? Like, our formats and shopping experiences are different. I think we as retailers place way, way too much emphasis on trying to get all that stuff perfect, especially from the get-go. Like, again, how many people honestly do you think have stepped inside a Go grocery store in Seattle and one of the fresh stores in California, Chicago, or wherever the hell else they are right now? Like, It's like zero, right? It's probably Ricardo, I know you're listening. It's probably like pundits like us, Ricardo, anybody else who like just geek out on this stuff. No one else cares. Right. Consumers don't care.
And they're consolidating. They're culling it down. And that's what you should be doing. And I think the simpler they can make it, which it's Amazon, that they will. So it makes
masterclass on how to do this when so many people get just so wrapped up in perfection.
Right. All right. We're going to headline number 3. You've teased it, Chris. Google is deepening its partnership with Shopify by letting the company's more than 1 million merchants make their products more discoverable in Google search and elsewhere like Maps, Lens, Images, and YouTube with just a few clicks, according to CNBC. Google will also, I don't know what exactly this means. So, Chris, you're going to have to tell me what you think about this, because I don't know if it's anything groundbreaking. But apparently Google is going to persistently display shopping carts when people open new tabs so they can easily return to shopping through this partnership also. So I don't know if that's just like the favicon goes away and it's a shopping cart now with like 25 things in it that I've saved and will someday buy. But either way. So
you're saying, like, do you think it's just going to be like on the top of the browser? They'll just be like kind of the cart thing with like, hey, you have 3 items in your cart that you put in here at some point in time. Do you want to go back to those?
Yeah, hard to say, but how that's different from the current experience. But whatevs. Moving on. Yeah. Shopify shares popped 4% after this news. And Chris, I'm curious what you think about this. I mean, is this big news to you? Is it like sizzle? What do you think?
I don't know. This is this one was tough for me. Like I'm a little skeptical of this. Like I think I've been, and I think I wrote articles about this back like 3 years ago in Forbes, where it was like, Google could be doing a lot more in retail than seemingly they are. And they've never been able to figure the e-commerce side out of this. When you think about, there's all the first product search activity. How do you just close that and convert that really fast for everyone involved? It just seems like they've never been able to figure that out, either from an operational perspective, but also from like a front end UX perspective. I have tried to use Google for shopping a lot. It just never, ever takes with me with the same like friction-free experience that I get when I'm at Amazon. So that's a pretty high bar to try to meet in general, if that's what you're competing on, those first product searches. But the other side of this too is like, when I think about Shopify, I don't know that Shopify is like a first product search thing. Like it's more about like it's a lot of niche brands, a lot of things you don't know about. So you kind of don't know it until you have understood it already. So that to me makes it feel like it's more discovery based and more suited to social commerce and Instagram. And by getting people hooked in it that way, or even having the search capability live in Facebook. So I would think of like Facebook or Instagram doing something similar to almost disintermediate the first product search in a different way for these companies than I do with this. So I don't love this that much. I'm kind of like split on it. I'm like 40, I'm not confident in that, like 40-60, but I'm hedging on the downside of this really not amounting to all that much.
Yeah, I think you were going to have to see what actually happens and what the customer experience is like for this, because in concept, like the idea that I as a customer can go and search now in Google, and instead of just getting random things from giant retailers or from Amazon or whatever, whoever can pay for the highest search results returned, that the idea that I might be able to support more local or independent businesses is cool. But like, look at the shop app that, Shopify tried to put out. I think that experience still needed a ton of work. Now, hopefully Google is the right partner for them to improve on this, but I think that there's still quite a bit that Shopify merchants are going to have to encounter to make this an experience that's truly like the Amazon for local brands. Like you said, the first product search for local and discoverable brands.
Yeah, there's always a reason business models are the way they are. And I'm still not quite sure what the twist is. But if anyone's listening and they want to kind of enlighten us and share some new points, by all means, let us know and we'll try to bring them up in the future shows. All right, headline number 4. This is a fun one. The RealReal is launching its own fashion brand, reportedly. So according to WWD, RealReal consignment website, best known for selling fashions of other companies, high-end fashions, and they have their people send in the goods, appraisers evaluate them, they resell them on their e-commerce site. And they actually have a few stores too. We visited the one in New York a few years ago and wrote about it. But apparently they are hiring an in-house design manager, which the reports claim is about launching a private label brand. And I have a ton of thoughts on this one, but you got to start.
So first I was really excited about this.
You were super excited about this. You fought for this.
I did fight for this because at first I was like, this could be really cool. And in my head, like the RealReal to me is like the closest equivalent that you will get to like Gen Z's Barney's or Bergdorf's. Like it fulfills the sustainability model that they're all after, that being like resale at its core. It started online first, so it feels like the right move for next generation, and they are going into physical stores. And for me, I was like, they have all this data on their customers, and I know that you're like totally against that, but they have all this data on their customers that tells them like, if we were to start a line, like what are the trends that we would need to follow? Like, is it crossbody handbags, and how do we make maybe a more affordable or more approachable price point for new people to experience this luxury brand with creating our own private label? But I know they're not profitable. It's a long shot, but hell, I'm in for it. Let's see what happens.
Well, I think you just said I actually had a special put you on the spot question just for you. Like in case I got it, I went to A&M and was like, I went to A&M and was like, give me one in reserve just in case you guys are screwing me today. So like that was their question, which was like, you mentioned profitability. Like, so net, like, do you think this is a good way to monetize their data? If I put a gun to your head, do you think this is a good move, good way to monetize their data, good way to give their customers what they want, or where are you on this? Like point blank, I'm asking you candidly, Frank, tell me.
I think it's worth an experiment. I mean, what else would you do? Like, how else do you make this? How else do you make this profitable? Like, how do you scale this? I mean, they've been at it the longest, and I would say have the most robust technical backbone to support this. Like, if anybody's going to figure out how to do this, their whole model their business depends on it.
See, you fought for this story, and I didn't want to do it. And then as I was researching it, I'm like, I actually want to keep this in because I actually hate this idea. Now, even as you said that, like I'm hating it even more because you say it's like an experiment. Well, it's an experiment on a different business model, not the business model that you actually have been trying to get working. So you're basically starting fresh. I also am sick and tired of two things. One, I hate every internet company that's like data is my advantage. Like I am so sick of hearing that. Like, okay, yeah, everyone has data. Every single person, every business has data to some degree. Like that, yes, let's all agree to that. Secondly, private label is not a panacea. Like Stitch Fix has claimed that they're going to try to do it. Bed Bath & Beyond is a lot of people are trying to buy into the fact that private label is going to save them. Everyone brings that up as the answer to get more profitability. But let's click into this, right? Okay, yes, you have data, but what do you have data on? You have data, and they have been explicit in saying this, that their business model is different. Onesie and twosie items, none of which look the same. Thousands of those that don't look the same. So are you using your data to create mass-produced products or knockoffs of onesie and twosie items? Because those are really different. And one of those is actually really hard to do and probably really hard to generate demand around and really expensive and costly. And the other one is probably where all the volume is, but yet I don't know that you have the data to confidently be able to do that. So net, I absolutely hate this idea, which when I absolutely hate something, I probably am missing a big point and you're probably right, but you have the last word. What do you think?
Well, I think that, they didn't have success. They've tried things like this where they've taken like stuff that's not been sold and they've tried to repurpose it and sell it off as onesies and twosies, and a lot of that didn't sell. So they again, like there's no time when you're up against the wall. They have no other choice here but to figure out how to keep this business operable. And so I tell you what, I'm going to ask Adam Siegel from Recurate next week. We're interviewing him, you guys, next Wednesday, the 26th, 12 Eastern. Adam is our resale expert from Recurate, and I'm going to put him on the spot with this question because I'm curious to hear what he says. And Chris, we might have to like place a little wager on this to see.
We might. No, that's cool. Yeah, my thing too is like, let's not get pandemic crazy here, right? Like you haven't been able to have stores too. Like I still think there's an omni-channel conception of this concept that could bring you some profitability. You just have to think about it in a smart way. And you got to really think about it from a nuts and bolts omni-channel perspective. All right, let's close it out. And I think you've got the fifth story here, right? To shut us down.
Yes, this will shut you down from my perspective, at least. So toy retailer Camp is rolling out online shopping for children as young as 3. Toddlers, really. I mean, we're talking toddlers at this point.
No, they overtly say 3, right?
Yeah. So parents can set up basically like a preloaded card that will allow kids to shop the Camp website, and they get coins and they can shop different gifts in there, and then the coins deplete as they pick the gifts. The representative from Camp also said that they're hoping with this effort that they will help kids better understand the value of money in the digital age. I just threw up in my mouth a little bit. Chris, I think it's clear how I'm feeling about this. How do you feel?
So you're pretty nauseated by this. Like this pretty much makes you nauseous. This is like your Mark Laurie food truck idea. I got to tell you, like I am nauseous as all hell with this. Like, and I am starting to wonder how like any young person has any conception of money. But hey, when you're the upper crust and you have generational wealth, tell them what they've won. They've won a lifetime of never having to worry about money, which is, I think, who this is catered to. I don't like that. I hate it actually. But from a future of retail perspective and where is retail going and what is this show about, I hate to say it, I actually love this. It's one of those ideas where I'm like, why didn't somebody come up with this before? I mean, you think about the analog Dave and Buster's, same thing. You get a card, you give it to your kids, they go play games, whatever. Now you're just bringing it into the digital world with toys. I also think you could extend this into the physical world when you start talking about everything that's going on in crypto, just even digital payments in general, but mobile technology, it's all loaded on a device or a mobile phone, and you can send your kid off You can sit down and have your rosé, like in the camp store, in the little area where you sit down. They go off and play. And then if they want to buy something, you give them like $10 to spend while they're there, which in reality is like what you're doing it. Now that I'm thinking about Dave and Buster's too, with the damn tickets, it's the whole same point. They go to the room. It's kind of a brilliant play. Now you're extending that into online. I don't think it's just toys that can do this. I think you could do this in a lot of ways with a lot of different loyalty programs. So I was always kind of down on the camp store as a concept, but like when you start thinking about it this way from an omnichannel perspective, I don't know. I actually think this is pretty cool. I think it's actually really cool.
Oh, Jesus, take the tablet. That's like, you got to get I cannot disagree more, Chris. Like,
really,
why do we need our 3-year-olds to be shopping online on their own? Like, that's one thing that I feel like my kids and I actually can do together. And even more so, like, I love camp. I love the store in person. Like, that shopping experience is cool because you get to be like in the space shopping with your kids, having those memories of buying something or playing in a room together with something, or seeing, even if I am sitting and having my rosé on the side and the kids are running through the like tree house or whatever, like, there's something about the connection that is missing there. And now our kids, we're just going to put them in front of a tablet and let them just go on their own. I hate it so much. And yes, it's the future of retail. And yes, this is probably where we're headed, but does that mean that's the right thing for humanity?
Moses smell the roses. That's what you're saying here. You kind of think it's important.
It was a Miranda Lambert play, Jesus Take the Wheel. You know that song, right?
Yeah, no, I don't, because
yeah.
I don't know anything about music. But okay, yeah, no, I mean, but yeah, you unlocked something for me I never thought about though. Camp's not about the reinvention of retail. It's about the reinvention of kids' entertainment. It's the reinvention of Chuck E. Cheese. It's the reinvention of Dave and Buster's. That's what you're ultimately getting at here, which could be a great business model if you figure out how to modernize this. But let's not confuse that with necessarily straight up retail. You're still playing, that's still an entertainment game mainly, but this gets you into the retail aspect online differently than those other people have done. So this is kind of a cool morph. And whenever you see a morph, that's like 1 + 1 = 3 for me. All right. Are you ready to wrap this up?
Let's do it. I'm ready.
All right. We've got a new fun section today. We're going to give it a shot, give it a wheel. Here we go, Ann. Rapid fire, 1-sentence answers. J. Crew hired a new creative director this week from Supreme. Is that going to solve all their problems? Go.
100% no. One person cannot solve an entire brand's problems, especially, as we will point out, if they are only the creative director for men's, not the entire brand.
Yes, I love that. If you don't, I always tell who reads stories in social and who doesn't. If you're saying this is great, it's only men's, not the majority of the business that J. Crew does. So keep thinking, everybody.
All right, Chris, I've got one for you. When you relive your days as Ben Affleck, are you picking Jennifer Garner or Jennifer Lopez?
Oh my God. Can I say neither one? I don't love either
of those
there
two. Is only one answer here.
Oh my God. If I had to go Jennifer's, I'd go Jennifer Lawrence. But I guess if you told me which of those two, I'd actually pick Gardner.
Oh, wrong answer. Wrong answer. J-Lo all the way. Jenny from the block, 100%.
Oh, give me a break. All right, and name that is always hot.
First one that came to mind was Jared, as in Jared Leto.
Oh my God, no, that is the absolute wrong answer. The correct answer is Lacey.
Chris, Walmart's Zeekit acquisition. What's your hot take?
Oh, hot space, lots of Snap, everybody going into this space in terms of virtual fitting technology. I just don't think it's the right play for Walmart. I think there's a lot of complications there. I don't think they should be a first mover on this. I would be spending my money and investing companies in a lot of different spaces right now.
Maybe they need it for the Brandon Maxwell new collection that still hasn't come out. Make sure it fits all right.
Yeah, okay. Maybe. Yeah, who knows where that goes? Yeah, a lot of sauce. Who knows how much? A lot of sizzle in that in that steak. I don't know.
That expression is. Who cares?
Anyway, you guys know what I mean. Who are listening? All right, happy birthday today to some great '80s actors and actresses: Bronson Pinchot, Balki Bartokomous, right? Is that his name? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mindy Cohn. Who's Mindy Cohn, Ann?
Oh, Jennifer.
Oh my God! Seriously.
I know who it is. I can't remember.
What show?
Family Ties. Yeah.
No. Facts of Life. She was Natalie.
Natalie. Oh, it was a good 80s name.
And Ann, do you believe in life after love?
Oh my gosh.
Cher. How old do you think Cher is? How old do you think? Honestly, how How old do you think she is?
I heard it on the radio this morning, so I
Ah,
know. She's like, what is that? Like Diamond Jubilee 75 or something?
that's
She's
right.
just going
Yeah,
to
good
be
reference. Good reference. She's
fully
like the
shared
Queen's Diamond
encrusted in
Jubilee.
diamonds today.
Oh wow. Yeah,
I'll
no,
pay to
that
see that concert.
she's younger than I thought. Did you think, honestly, be honest, did you think Cher was older than 75?
No. In my mind, she's always like 35 on that like SOS ship with their like fishnets. So that will forever be Cher in my mind. I think she was 60 then or something,
No
actually.
matter how much she ages, she always looks the same age.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that's totally Cher. All right, and remember, if you can only read or listen to one retail blog in the business, make it OmniTalk. Our Fast Five podcast is the quickest, fastest rundown of all the week's top news, and our twice weekly newsletter tells you the top 5 things you need to know each day, and also features special content exclusive to us and just for you. And we try to fit it all within the preview pane of your inbox. You can sign up today at www.omnitalk.blog. Thanks as always for listening in. Please remember to like and leave us a review wherever you happen to listen to your podcast or on YouTube. And of course, as always, be careful out there. The OmniTalk Fast Five is brought to you with the help and support of the A&M Consumer and Retail Group. The A&M Consumer and Retail Group is a management consulting firm that tackles the most complex challenges and advances its clients, people, and communities toward their maximum potential. CRG brings the experience, tools, and operator-like pragmatism to help retailers and consumer products companies be on the right side of disruption. And of course, Takeoff. Takeoff is transforming grocery by empowering grocers to thrive online. The key is micro-fulfillment, small, robotic fulfillment centers that can be leveraged at a hyper-local scale. Takeoff also offers a robust software suite so grocers can seamlessly integrate the robotic solution into their existing businesses. To learn more, visit takeoff.com.